It's one of those life-changing events. Sports broadcaster Brendan Telfer, on the eve of his book launch, collapses at Wellington Airport and surgeons have to put him into a coma. Many of his friends, even family, feared the worst. And it could have ended up very differently. A doctor on the scene advised him he was okay and could get on his plane. But fortunately, our airports have paramedics on standby. They sensed things were not good, called an ambulance. Now, 2 months later, he's home, recovering well, and very thankful to be alive.
Well, I feel very lucky to be here, Mark, I'd have to say, given the sequence of events. And you look at the fatality rate for people who have these subarachnoid hemorrhages, to give it its proper medical term. I feel very lucky to be here, yeah. In fact, that was confirmed again for me today by the neurosurgeon, the neurologist I went to see this morning, who said that, what was the term that he used? Nothing short of amazing, the recovery that I've made.
So how did it happen?
I'd arrived at Wellington Airport to catch a plane home to Auckland on a Sunday afternoon, and I was running a wee bit late. I heard the PA announcement announcing the departure of this flight to Auckland. I still had to check in. So I jumped on this escalator and started running up the escalator with the golf clubs on one arm and my bag on the other. And I suddenly, just out of nowhere, just started struggling to breathe a bit and felt my head and my vision getting a bit blurry. And I'd never experienced this before, and I thought, well, this is unusual. And so I thought the only place I can go is onto the floor. So I gently got down onto my knees and then lay on my back. And as I was laying on my back, as I was lying down, I called out to someone, please, can someone help me? And I don't remember much more than that, actually, until I woke up in hospital about 3 days later.
And Jan, I mean, you get the call, no one would have what it got.
No, that's right. I didn't really know, at first what it was. Brendan, all he said was, I've collapsed at the airport and I think you need to come. He was very short and to the point. And I think the thing is too that, when you're there and you're on a one-way street, there's no backing out, there's no going backwards. You just have to deal with it. And I wasn't panicky. I knew that we were in good hands. It's not far, fortunately in Wellington, it's not far from, the airport to the hospital.
And when you woke up, she wasn't sitting there holding a life insurance policy.
No.
Unplugging the drip.
Yeah.
Because, listen, it is amazing. Because as I said, that I think for all of us reading it and seeing this, and I think Brendan's a fit guy.
Yeah,
you keep yourself fit, you look after yourself.
In fact, the cardiologist who I saw during the week said that to me. There's no doubt about it. He said that your level of fitness has been a big factor in your recovery.
How are people sort of treating you? Were they treating you as though he's on the way out?
I think in the hospitals, there is a sort of, they are very positive people, and you are in this little cocoon. I didn't for a moment doubt that he wasn't going to pull through.
But didn't one of your cousins, was it, want to proof
that? A cousin of mine who came and saw me a couple of weeks ago here said he wanted to come and see me because he rang me up and said, it's nice to hear from you, Brendan, but I'd like to make sure that you're alive. He said, because he said, I got a phone call from Dad, my uncle, saying that you died. He said he went up to the hospital to see you and you're a complete mess. This was when I was in the coma, was it? I don't know. After the coma, he said, yeah, he's in a complete mess. And from that, apparently, it was only a small jump to waving me goodbye. It's not a great way to launch your book, being in a coma. But anyway, now that I've recovered and I'm reasonably well, hopefully sometime in the next few months we might be able to relaunch it. Yeah.
So this wasn't just a cheap publicity stunt, Brendan Telfer?
No, it wasn't.
Come on, Jan, is that what it's about?
A pretty good one, wasn't it? Possibly. Yeah.
Does it change your life? Does it change, all of a sudden you think, man, I'm mortal?
Now, I must confess, I feel... I feel more, I suppose to be brutally honest, pessimistic about longevity. I mean, I don't know how long I've got left on this planet. And when you've had this sort of kind of near-death experience, it probably helps you to accept the concept of death a little easier. But also, I think I'll probably be a bit more apprehensive about what I do from now on. But I haven't changed, have I? Because the neurologist asked her this morning, has he changed at all? He said, because of where I had this issue, or the bleed must have been on the front right lobe, and he said usually when a person has a problem with that area of the brain, it affects the personality. They become grumpy, what else did he say? Impatient, So he was curious to know whether Jan had detected any personality change in me.
And he hasn't turned into a monster.
No, thank goodness.
In fact, my older children have said to me, Dad, you seem a lot happier and a lot more relaxed, which is probably something to do with the fact that I haven't had to work for 3 months, So, but anyway, touch wood, I'll hopefully be back there within a couple of months.